Hi, we're the Brights.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing today?
I'm trying really hard not to say hi, we're the Brights coming to you live.
Because you always say that.
Well, I know, but then so I'm trying not to. But then I don't know what to say when we start. So just
Hi, we're the Brights.
Hi, we're the
We're
Brights.
going to say something new.
This
So
brighter marriage.
new.
Okay.
Something new.
Yes. So it's whatever day. And
You're not supposed to do
know,
that either.
I'm trying not to, but when you get in habits of doing it, so I'm trying to undo it.
That's why I said good day.
Good
day, mate.
Good day, mate.
I sound like
Hello.
John James.
Hello. So we're just hopping on here, and it's afternoon for us. That's all I'm gonna say. And just how y'all guys doing? How you doing? Like how you doing?
How you be?
How you doing in marriage?
Really.
Yeah, really. How you doing during this
We
time
can take
right
it.
now?
You can tell us.
We've just talked to different couples, people going through some stuff. Like it's a really interesting time. I'm so sick of saying it's unprecedented. I can't even say it.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented times. I can't say it. I'm sick of the word. That's probably why, because I'm tired of it, and I keep thinking it's going to change, and I keep saying, it's not forever, and it's going to be back to some kind of normalcy here soon, and here we are months ago.
Well, okay, let's just pretend. What if somebody did come on and say, all right, are y'all ready? Because it's going to be like this forever and ever and ever. It's never going to change. Well, we could either say, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, or we can say, oh my gosh, well, I'm not going to accept that. We're going to do some stuff that's different. We're going to make some changes so that we're not affected by this. And that's what we need to be doing. We can't wait for the circumstances around our world to change. We have to change the circumstances in our world.
Good. That's
so
good. That's so good.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
I said something good. I thought I was going to write down what I just said.
And it just made me think about naked Jenga, what you said earlier. I don't know, that's just
if
random.
If you play naked Jenga, you can get over some marital issues. I'm just saying.
I don't know where that came from. Did we just do this?
Ladies, do that. Come home and say, baby, we're going to play. I know we were arguing and fighting earlier, but man, we're going to play naked Jenga. And I guarantee you, your husband's going to forget all about everything. You'll get new couches. We've got 7. If you need a new couch, I'm just teasing. We
were doing a show just now, right before we did this show. We do it once a month called Love Matters with Dr. Marshall Lee. It's on Roku. It's I don't even know sure. It's just internet TV, and they were saying like activities that can rekindle your marriage. And so Richard and I were writing a list earlier when we were having lunch, and he said, "I know naked Jenga," and I just can't stop thinking about naked Jenga. I just think that sounds so funny. It just sounds funny. It makes you laugh.
And
if you're having a fight, just say naked Jenga.
Now, how uneventful is that? So there you are naked, pushing a block to see if it's going to fall. Now naked twister, that would be some fun. Yeah. But naked Jenga, well.
Come from? I don't
know. Just sounded because you were asking me for things, and I just thought of something funny that I could just throw in there. And I thought naked Jenga.
So we were talking about, so that was for that. But for this, we're talking about, just people going through some stuff. And I think a lot of it is because, we can talk about conflict resolution, and we can talk about love language and personality types, and all those things matter. But I think during this time right now, a lot that we need to know with our spouse is to understand our spouse right now and to know what they're going through and make sure that we're talking to them, making sure that we have a safe place and we've created this environment that we feel that we can talk openly and honestly about how we're feeling during this time. Because I think we're all going through, sometimes we have great days, and then sometimes we're all like, man, this sucks, but we have to be able to talk to each other about that, and I think sometimes couples just don't feel like they're known, like they don't feel like their partner hears them, or they don't feel understood, and they don't want to talk to them. And then when they do try to talk to them, they might say something smart alecky, or they might say something sarcastic, and then you're like, you know what? That's why I don't ever say anything. And then
that's why we don't ever play naked Jenga.
And then you just retreat, and you go to your corners, and then you don't end up talking about it, and then you're in the corner licking your wounds.
Another day goes by, and another day, and another day, and more isolation, more resentment, and this is how we get into a place that we call bad marriages or unhealthy marriages.
Yeah, and this is how couples get to a point where they're like, I don't even know if I love him anymore, and I don't know if I even, ever did love them, and I don't think I'm in love with them anymore, and they're going through all these things.
I
When
will
really,
always love you. I'm just not in love with you. That's what they say in the movies. That's not true. You know?
We have to choose to love our spouse every day, and we have to choose to want to hear what they have to say. We have to choose to, even if it's uncomfortable, or even if it makes you not feel good, because maybe they're hurting. Like, people are hurting right now, and there's some people that can't handle it. Like, their spouse can't handle it because they've never had it. Everything's always been pretty good, and they've just kind of coasted along on that skimming along the top.
They've never been pushed to the limit that they're being pushed right now.
Yep.
And people don't know how to. They've never been able to truly process emotions and articulate how they feel in a way that maybe has been receptacle on both ends. So when now we're getting our feet held to the fire, we're freaking out, and I'm just not going to sit up here and lie and tell you, oh man, y'all can do it, you can do it, this is great. Even we are having issues, all right, not bad issues, but some days are better than others. Some days we're just like, man, girl, we got this, boo, it's you and I, and man, let's go out. And then some days we're just like, how is this happening to us?
Yes.
So it's a real thing.
I feel like our issues are more about what's happening around us right now, and not so much what's happening
to us
with each other. Because like we've been saying, it's a word that God gave me this year, but having marriage equity. And that's an important time right now, is to be putting things into your marriage. So when the caca hits the fan, we've never had it hit the fan like it's hit the fan now, but thank God we are pressing into each other instead of turning away from one another. Like, we can't control the situations around us, but we can encourage each other. We can be there for each other. Right now, I could see there was a time in our marriage we'd have been deuces.
It would have been very hard.
We'd have been out.
So you might be in that situation right now that it's very hard, and you're trying to figure out how are we going to stay married,
And we can't read each other's mind. Your spouse can't read each other's mind. You can't be like, well, I told you I loved you when we got married, and everything changes, I'll let you know. Or if you loved me, you would know. That's just what the world says. That's what the movies say.
That's what everybody else says.
That's what that's not true marriage. Our spouse cannot read our mind. Like, I feel like Richard and I are so in tune with each other. We know each other a lot. But you know what? That changes day to day. And there's some days I feel like, who are you? Like we just feel, because we're going through stuff, and I think, do you not really know me? After the day before, we had the most deep, intimate, greatest conversation. And then the next day, we look at each other cross-eyed. And I think that's just because we're all growing, we're all changing, we're never the same, and it's a daily habit of pressing into each other and doing the hard work that you have to do, of putting your partner in a position where they can share open and honest with you, because they need to be able to come to you, but also there needs to be a safe place. Because there was a time that Richard would say, oh, you can talk to me, babe, and then I would try to say stuff, and he'd say, well, that's stupid. I don't think you should feel that way, and not during this time, but there was times years ago where he's like, well, you shouldn't feel that way, I know what
you do. Get a new friend.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're having trouble with your friend.
What else can I help you with? You're welcome.
Yeah. And so then I was like, oh my God, he doesn't understand anything, and he just doesn't even care. And then go into my corner and not talk to him. And what's worked for us, what's helped our marriage get back on track, what helped us stay married, was having hard conversations, having deep conversation, it's not always a big, heavy, deep conversation.
I'm glad you didn't say alcohol.
We tried that for years, didn't work either. It just got worse.
Because I was like, that didn't work, remember?
Yeah. But what's your partner going through? What are the stresses at this moment that they're going through? And it could change day to day, but what are some fears that they're having? Like, we started talking about some stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know you felt that way. Like, I said something, he goes, that's funny you said that, because I've been feeling XYZ, and I thought, you have? Like, wow. And then it just opened up a whole another conversation of stuff, and it's allowed us to not feel like we're really different in some ways of how we handle stress. But instead of turning away from each other and going, well, that's ridiculous, you shouldn't do that, it's like, you know what? Okay, I can buy into that. Like, we started, I don't think that's the end of the world, okay, right now, but I know that there's stuff weird in the world, and it makes me have more security when we have extra amount of, or let's say overstock. Like I want to make sure we've got stuff for 2 or 3 months. If the world shuts down or what, I don't know what's happening. Nobody seems to know what's happening.
You've got to have your makeup wipes.
We want to have, I like having extra soap and extra vitamins.
Almond milk.
And almond milk and, stuff like that. And
the
so
simple things in life.
Used to be, he was like, oh my God, you're like, that's ridiculous. And now he's like, babe, make me a list and let's,
So she's having her moment and then she goes, if we don't have electricity, and I thought, what do you mean if we don't have electricity? So then I start freaking out like, we have to have electricity. How are we going to keep our ice with no electricity?
And then he's like, don't worry, babe, don't worry. I can cook on it. And I'm like, we can do that alcohol stove. Like I started watching these videos. Like, we don't want to get crazy over the top weird about stuff. But you know what? It gives me a little bit of security just knowing, you know what? As long as we have just a little bit of stuff, then I can go on about my life.
She's got to freak me out. I'm all like, well, that's all right. I've got a generator. I'll put gas in it, and we'll keep the freezers going. And what? She goes, yeah. How are you going to get gas? I'm like, why are you telling me all this stuff? It's all gloom and doom now. Now I'm like, I got to hoard gasoline. I'm like, man, well, it's just going crazy, world. We're going crazy. Got 10,000 gallons of gasoline, 100 generators, 10,000 feet of extension cord.
And I'm like, do you think we could trade some almond milk for silver?
What do we need silver for? Our teeth?
I don't know. But just, I don't know how we got on that whole tangent. It's not that out of control.
See, you have to laugh.
But we have to laugh, but we have
Make
to
a
know.
list. If we were going to hoard stuff, what can we hoard?
We need
adult diapers.
Stop.
Never even needed them, but now
just about that. So he's at Costco the other day. Y'all can just see our text messages as a married couple. He sends me a picture, and he's walking down the aisle trying to find my makeup wipes, and he sees a picture.
I want y'all to, she's going to tell y'all, but I want y'all to think. Think, all right?
Okay,
listen.
So the guy on the picture, it's like men's...
Depends.
Depends, I guess, but it's like the Costco brand. But it's like a guy, and he's got on his Depends, like a little underwear, and he's like got this picture, and he just looks.
And it's just from the nose like this down.
And
okay?
it just seems so happy. Like this. He's smiling, and so he sends me a picture of the front of the thing, and he goes, "I don't know, I just don't think I would be that happy."
Right.
And I said,
because this guy is smiling like he's got it all figured out.
He's smiling like he's got a Speedo on, and he's in, everything's great. But he's actually got on his underwear, his Depends. And he said, I don't think I can be that happy. That's the text he sends me. And I said, if you could just pee anytime, anywhere, without anybody ever knowing, you would probably be that happy. You probably would be smiling
it's
like
all
that.
Perspective, folks. It's all perspective.
Okay, so that's just so weird. You gotta laugh. We're trying to laugh a lot, like during this time. That's helping us to be able to watch some funny videos or a prank video.
I started thinking about the people that had to go through stuff in the Bible. Like, I'm living a sober life. If Jesus turned the water to wine, we have to drink it. So I'm like, hey, baby. Jesus brought it back.
It's the end of the world. It doesn't matter anymore.
If you try cooking it, just drink it.
Yeah. So we need to talk and to each other, laugh some, but we used to know what our partner's worries are, what their stresses are, what they're going through at this moment. What are their hopes and their aspirations? What are their dreams? Like, we have to look forward.
How's this making you feel?
Like today, we were at lunch after we went to church. We're friends of ours that has a small church, so our church's not open yet. But we were going in, and we went and had lunch afterwards, and we were just talking. And he said, not being on a stage, not making people laugh, not doing what we normally do, it's hard. And it was hard. I always think it's hard for me, and then he's cool with everything. But he was like, it's really hard for me. Like, what if we never get to do that again? And because we know God called us to do that, and we love doing it, and so we have to talk about that. And it's a grief. It feels like grief, but it's not something like we're just like in the corner with our blanket. We talk about it, we get through it, we encourage each other. I showed him some pictures of friends that are going to start doing events again, and it's really weird looking, and there's like 4 chairs and then a space and then 4 chairs and then whatever, but life is going to get back to something. I don't know if it will be.
And I think of people who've lost loved ones, and what they're going through. And no matter what happens, life is never going to go back to normal for them. There is no normal for them anymore, because now they don't have a mother or a father or brother or sister, aunt or uncle, friend, husband, wife. So things have changed, and we have to count all joy and that's the hardest thing to do. We have to trust God. Now I see more people turning away from God than ever before. People who are on fire, especially new believers, that were just like, man, this is so good, this is so good, but they were getting the head knowledge, but they weren't getting the life knowledge that comes with it, and we all have to go through that. It's like a rite of passage. We hear it, Jeremiah 29:11, God doesn't bring anything to cause us harm, but to give us life more abundant, and give us hope in a future. And so, you hear all these things and you hear all this stuff, but man, sometimes we haven't lived it out yet. Sometimes we haven't experienced it. We understand now that Jesus is more than just somebody that we pray to, a mythical person that we're just, we understand that Jesus is living live and well in us. Right, and that, man,
and that the word is
the word, and it's the truth,
alive.
And it's alive. And so, man, no matter what is happening in our life, that, man, we're going to count everything joy. We're going to look for joy. We're going to be thankful that, if we never get on a stage again, oh my gosh, we had the opportunity to do that one time, or to do it a few times. But man, we got to do that, And I don't look at things anymore like, now, what can we do different? What else can we do to help people, to encourage people? Because that's what we do, because we got our encouragement telling our story. Because when we did, somebody else that was hurting and their lives were falling apart and their marriages were falling apart, all of a sudden got a glimmer of hope. And in that hope, they stayed connected. And in that hope, they tried a little bit harder. And they got a little bit stronger. And they kept on and they kept on and they kept on. And that is what we see. So what can we do different if it never goes back to the way it was? If we never get on a stage again, what can we do different to continue to bring that hope? Because God has called us to do that, And so what is God calling you guys to do? These are the things that we need to talk about now. These are the things that we need to say. How are you feeling about this? How are your emotions right now? Could you shatter at any moment? Do you feel like you're just going to fall apart? Now's the time to press in and birth something new. God just doesn't want us to go through life, wake up, take care of the kids, pay the bills, go to church, wake up, take care of the kids, pay the bills, go to church. He wants us to live life. What are we doing to live life and to get joy out of each other and not cause each other pain and strife and anger and resentment and isolation and all the things that happen to people when they don't understand what the love of God and what He's trying to do in our lives,
Yeah, and if we don't, like we said, we don't know if it's going to go back, what it's going to go back to, but we can't just be like, I just wish we lived in that. Like Richard said, we're trying to really find the joy of, like, what if that never happens again? Look what God already has done. Like, look what everything He did in our life and everything. We have such great memories of it, and the people that we've helped. And right now, it's just a different season. Couples are hurting so much. Maybe they don't need a marriage conference and people making them laugh on a stage. Maybe right now they just need a couple to encourage them and to keep them going. I mean, we ran into a couple the other day, and they haven't been, that's what I was going to say when you were talking about the new Christians. They haven't been Christians that are walking that long in their walk. And so they were coming to class, getting excited about everything. They heard our story, they heard our other teachers, and they were getting surrounded with other couples, and they were like, wow, this is great. And then the pandemic, everything happened, and then they lost someone. I mean, just some bad stuff started happening just these last few months.
And
they
were
barely
hanging on.
Barely hanging on. And they were like, why? Here we gave our life to the Lord, and everything's going to hell in a handbasket. But we see our friends on social media that aren't following the Lord. It looks like they're living their best life yet. But we know that because we have life experience. That's a lot of that is a highlight reel of what people's life is. But maybe our job right now, because we've had that life experience, to say, you know what, hang on and get through this, because there are going to be times that you're going to have tribulations and trials and things like that, but it can make you stronger. And then when things are better and things are good, because you're going to have peaks and valleys, then you'll have that equity in your marriage to be able to get through it. We just felt so hard, so much hurt and pain for them, because we know that they're going to get through it and it's going to get better because we've experienced it in our own lives. But to watch a younger couple struggling like that, it was just so hard for us, because they just looked like they were walking like a zombie, like just distraught. And we know that it's going to get better. We've been through that, and we've seen the other side.
we saw a couple today that used to come to our church. They go to another
yes.
church now.
Yep.
And we were with them one time.
Several
we have
times.
been through the stuff with them. There was times that we were getting the calls at 2:00 in the morning.
yeah.
I'm done with him, or I'm done with her.
Drugs, alcohol, just like our story.
Everything.
Yep.
But you know what? They work through it, and now
Yes.
they are.
Like 7 years
Oh
later.
my gosh! Oh my! And we were telling them our story, and they know our story. And I just said, man, we're so proud of you guys. Look what God has done in y'all's life, and they're like, oh my gosh. And she just looked right at me and goes, Richard, if I'd have quit when I told you that I wanted to quit, and you said don't, I'd have never seen the best part of my husband. I would have never seen the gifting and the talent and the creative mind that he had, that God had given him, if I would have walked out then.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have never seen the healing that he did in our marriage if we'd have walked out then. You know, and
I
all
kept
the
saying,
goodness.
what if y'all had quit? What if you'd quit? And she said, if I had listened to most people, that her worldly friends and people at work or whatever, or even some people in the church.
And she was dead serious. She goes, if I'd have
us
listened,
a couple times, we're like, I don't know, I don't even know. You know.
Okay, fine, quit, throw in the towel. You're
like,
done.
Well, we were just like, maybe y'all need to have a separation so he can come to his senses, you know. But wow, just it helped us to go, you know what? We never should ever tell somebody. They need to know. They have to have peace about that. It's not our place to tell someone, because the enemy was fighting them that hard. Look what, and now they're like helping other marriage couple. I mean, just crazy.
There's no winning and quitting. We can't, you can't. I always tell, do you hear about the millionaire who quit? No, you didn't, because they don't quit. They fail. They try it again. They try it again. They try it again. Pastor Joel used to say, man, if you knew that, man, you were going to fail 99 times, but on the 100th time you were going to make it, wouldn't you want to get those 99 out of the way to get to that 100?
That's good.
And that was such a amazing analogy for me, because I'm like, you know what? I think I'm on 999. So I need one more, and I'll hit my 1,000, because I felt like I had to probably fail 1,000 times. You know, because sometimes we feel like, man, but you don't understand what I've been through. You don't understand the pain I've caused other people. You don't know my mistakes. You know what? Guess what? God is still there with his arms out, saying, I still love you. I still love you. Yes, we have consequences for our mistakes, but I still love you. You know, and man, it's never too late. So God doesn't look at that, you know.
It's like Pastor, we went to our friend's church today, Pastor Juan. He's like, you know, it's like God's looking at us like we look at our kids sometimes. We're like, do y'all want to just take the easy route? Like, y'all can go the easy one. There's no bumps or anything.
Right.
Or you can go on this one and choose the...
Right. He goes, the kids are going, and they're like, Dad, we don't... And God's all like, look, you went down that road. I had this smooth road over here for you.
I don't know why you keep
But you chose that road, you know, and you're like, I don't know what's going wrong. And man, we were just laughing.
But God
you know?
still says, okay, and I'm here to pick you up. I'm here to get you back on,
Back
the, road,
on the road,
even every
you
time
know?
you go on the crazy road. So he's still there. He still loves us. He's still good. Even when our marriage gets off track, and you guys, you know, I posted something yesterday. Just sometimes you just got to hang on. Sometimes that's all you got. Like I feel like our faith, we all say, we trust the Lord, just trust in the Lord out here. God's good all the time. But you know what? We're having to trust the Lord like we've never, and we thought when our house flooded, that was trusting the Lord. But I'm telling you, this
my
is a
sister
different.
died, my mother died, my brother died,
all
all
these
within
things are-
6 months. I was like,
We
Lord.
thought that was trusting the Lord.
Right.
But this is a whole different trust in the Lord, because none of us knows the future. And one way it feels so great to just say, Lord, have your way, like your will be done. It feels like some pressures are taken off. But at the same time, the uncertainty and if you're a security-minded person like I am, it rocks your world. But together we can, if we're listening to each other and we're talking and we're honest and vulnerable and asking questions and remembering the answer to the questions that your spouse told you, and then keep asking questions and keep getting to it. Don't let your spouse go down a rabbit hole.
You know, we've got to be able to talk about this. I need to be able to say, this is how I feel. These are my emotions, and I am feeling this, right? And she should be able to say, this is my emotions, this is my feeling, and I am feeling this. And then we sit down and we say, okay, what does the Bible say about that? What does the Word of God say? And then we find out what the Word of God says for us to do, right? And I just know that, man, if we apply what the Word of God says to our life, that's the way we're supposed to live. right? That's the way that we bring honor and value and integrity and character to our relationship and build the foundation that she was talking about earlier, the marriage equity. You know, we have equity. Once we start winning some of these little victories, then, man, we need to celebrate those. We used to hear, man, when you get a little victory, celebrate it, because it's an achievement, right? God has done something. He's let you've won a victory in that area, celebrate it. And then you look back, man, write it down somewhere. Keep track of all the memory stones. Yeah. And then you look back, because it's easy. It could be so easy right now to say, man, look what this COVID has done to so many people. It's changed everything. And then you look back. All right, when I was, 12 years old, my grandmother died, and a bunch of stuff was supposed to happen that didn't. You know what? God brought me through that. When my dad died at 17, and I thought everything was, my father was gone. I was 17 years old. God got me through it. When I got divorced, right, for the first time, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never getting married. God got me through it. All these things, when we were down to no money, and God got us through it. When her father died, her mother and her sisters and her brother, God got us through it. When our house, God has got us through it all, and we look at it and we've learned something from it, and we've grown from it, right?
And we know we can really trust God.
And we know that we can trust God because His words are real, and His blood covers us all, right?
Yeah. And so just press in with each other, y'all. This is a time for us to not grow away from each other, but to press into one another, to ask questions. And
naked Jenga.
Naked, and have some naked Jenga. I think that and you got to remember that your spouse is changing, and they're changing, and what they liked 5 years ago may not be what they like now. What their favorite movies change. They don't like the coffee the same way. One likes to fish.
You don't like Nacho Libre anymore?
No, I didn't cheat on you.
You don't like Elf?
Like our favorite, one of our favorite movies is Nacho Libre, and we used to watch it so many times we could just do all the little parts in the movie. But your spouse is changing, and there's different things. They might get new hobbies or new things that they like, or they like change their style, or they lose 50 pounds or whatever.
Hey, send me some corn.
My favorite color is tan.
Mine too.
If you haven't watched Nacho Libre, oh my gosh, watch it with your spouse. It's the best movie ever. If you have a warped sense of humor. And so it's June's on here. I just saw, and she was saying that if you look at how much couples laugh with each other, and we just realized this the other day how much we enjoy. I mean, we always know we laugh. We have a lot of humor with each other, and we write jokes together. But we were watching prank videos and with some friends when we went out to eat sushi, and we just pulled the phone up. We were laughing so hard.
They kicked us out of the restaurant.
It was like we were a bunch of drunks, and I literally was peeing my pants. Like I should have had those Minsta pins because we were laughing so hard. But when we were walking to the car, it was like we were all like this high, and we said, you know what? We need to do this every day with our spouse. We needed to remember. So like he came in the other day and showed me this old Saturday Night Live video, and we're just laughing like it's so stupid. But it just feels like medicine. Like the Bible says, it's like medicine. It's better than getting drunk. You don't have a hangover.
You're watching the
you're
Californians.
Not fighting with your spouse. Yes.
What are you doing here?
Okay.
You need to leave. Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Oh my gosh. So we're just to
Hey,
laugh
another shameless plug on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen Schitt's Creek, you've got to watch
it. Everybody's against
that's
Netflix
right.
now, but I think you might be able to write Schitt's Creek. So this is the only time we can actually say Schitt's Creek on a Christian video, but it's SCHITT. That just happens to be their last name. Shit, it's SCHI. Hey, I get to actually say that word, y'all. It's they don't even think they have any cuss words in it. It is the funniest show I think of it. Like we're laughing about it so much, and I don't know, it's because I'm so much like the wife.
Excuse me.
But a great show.
And we laugh.
We laugh together.
We laugh and we laugh and we laugh, and I know that laughter brings great medicine, just like Proverbs 17:22 says, because it releases something, right? It just releases something like an energy, a good positive energy that's out there, and it's the Holy Spirit. You're connecting. Y'all are both seeing something funny, and sometimes she'll laugh, and I'm like, that wasn't funny. But then when you think about it, it was a whole lot more intelligent, and you had to be a little bit smarter to get it. And I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Y'all, sometimes, Richard, we have this whole thing. Okay, y'all know we play the game called If So-and-so and So-and-so Had a Baby. And so it's like we look at people and go, oh my gosh, doesn't that person look like this person? Or doesn't that person look like that person too? And then we'll say, oh my gosh, if so-and-so and so-and-so had a baby. And it can be two guys, it can be a wife, a man and a woman. Doesn't matter. They just happen to have features or they look like it. So we laugh about this. Like almost every day we say if so-and-so and so-and-so had a baby. But we also, we have a thing called Richardisms. Because Richard, like I'm a big reader, so I guess I've seen a lot of words in print. Like I've always been a reader. Like I would have been a librarian.
Listener. I was going to say big listener, but I
and so he comes up with these things like he'll say, and it's just so random, but we just have so much fun laughing about him. And he'll say, I didn't know it was gird your loins. And I was like, what? And he goes, it's gird your loins.
What does that mean?
Did you know that? And I'm like,
gird your loins.
I go, what did you think it was? He goes,
what are you doing? I'm in here girding my loins. You know that.
I said, what did you think it is? And he goes, I thought it was guard your loins.
Right.
This whole time, I thought it was guard your loins.
Guard your loins. You know.
Y'all, you gotta find something.
Is that like unguard?
So we got into where there's so many of the funny little things that he has that I actually have them in my phone and I write them down because they're so hilarious. What was the one you just told me? We were just sitting in there and you said,
I don't remember.
I don't know. You just told it to me. You were reading something and you said, I thought it was.
I don't know.
Ah! You just told me.
I know it's not chest of drawers because it used to be Chester drawers. And I'm like, how does Chester have drawers named after him? Anyways.
Neck of Jenga.
Guys, look,
yes,
don't give up. Don't give up, man. Find some friends that are, Dave and Ashley Willis gave this information, and it's so key. 4 things. Before you take any information from anybody, any advice from anybody, number 1, they have to love you. Number 2, they have to love your spouse. Number 3, they have to love God. And number 4, they have to love your marriage. If one of those is missing, then man, you don't have to be rude, but you don't have to take that advice, right? Because when they have all 4, they're going to give you pearls of wisdom that you could use that's going to help you in your marriage.
And I think about that couple we were talking about a few minutes ago that got all this advice, and even us giving them advice and different things, and they almost gave up. And if we had taken so much of the advice of everybody else, we wouldn't be together right now. What we had to do was understand each other's love map, which is what is your heart? What are your dreams? What are your stresses? What are your aspirations? We have to ask questions. We had to get deep. We had to, sharing your heart with your spouse is a lifelong process. Like I said, it can change. It'll change 6 months from now. Right now in this pandemic, it's changing day to day. It seems like one day
I just want cheesecake. Cheesecake makes it all better.
So just remember, ask questions to your spouse. Remember the answers. That's really important. Keep asking questions. The bigger the question or the deeper the question, the more emotional investment that you're going to have, and the deeper and the more you're going to start uncovering things. And don't freak out about stuff. Be a safe place where your spouse can talk to you and be able to tell you the things that are on their heart, and that you have empathy and sympathy for them, right?
That's good.
Yeah. And if you want, ideas for for relationship enhancing questions, Google it. There's all kinds of stuff out there about marriage that you can find. We have probably 60 or 70 videos of different things that you can find out there. So that's it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We love y'all. Yeah. Appreciate the support. And just
share our videos. There's a lot of hurting couples right now. We don't get paid for these videos, y'all. It's not like share a video so we can, it's just from our heart. But we know that if we had quit,
we are storing up our treasures in heaven.
Yes. It's kingdom stuff, y'all.
That's right.
So help us out, other people. We love you guys, and we'll see y'all soon. Peace. Chica.